on this. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? Hope everybody's doing very well. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. Cigar of the weekend is the Romeo y Juliet Reserve Real. And the drink of the afternoon is Blackberry Crown Royal. Let me just say this. I had this when I was down in New Orleans. When I spent the weekend in New Orleans, catch the Giant Saints game, they had Blackberry Crown Royal, which a couple of my buddies, we had a couple of shots of that, and he was hooked. They even served, it goes well with lemonade. Lemonade goes well with the Blackberry Crown Royal, which I had at the Louisiana Superdome. It was fire. Copied it yesterday at the liquor store. It was a limited edition. Tried to copy. So anyway, wanted to talk to y'all about on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to be too long because the Saints is about to play in about an hour. So I want to see them bums lose to the Carolina Kitty Cats today. After they traded away Rashid Shaheed, who was on his last year of his contract. He was going to make some money, but I'm glad the Saints got some picks out of it, got something in return. Because this has been a shitty year for the NFL. I didn't have any expectations, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Oh well, maybe next year. Maybe next year, fortunes will turn around, and I'll be back down with my boys to attend another game. But I wanted to talk about. I was going back, and like I mentioned last week, I was going back at some old videos with Tariq Nasheed going in on Dr. Umar Johnson. Even Roland Martin was going in on Dr. Umar Johnson. And Tariq made a point that because of this FDMG debacle, where the guy got thousands and thousands out of black folks, hardworking black folks. I mean, y'all had to carry yourselves to a job, a 9-to-5 job, or a 7-to-7 job. You worked hard for your money, and you get to hear this rhetoric that, hey, he's doing something for the children. He's going to open up a school for black children and teach them nonsense, things that's not going to be useful in the real world. Okay. So I knew then he was going to have a problem even 15 years ago. I knew he was going to have a problem. And I knew that school was not going to, I wanted him to win. I wanted him to win. But I knew that school wasn't going to, that wasn't his priority. See, Len Arner can do all those streams, and other YouTubers are going to do all the streams about him being a con artist and not building the school, not doing anything, not doing what he needs to do to build that school. And Dr. Umar's response is like, I need donations. I don't need help. I need money. If you're not a donor, I don't answer to you. If you haven't donated, if you donated 20, why didn't you donate 50? I don't answer to you until you donate 50. See, like I said, the emotional, using your black folks' emotions as a weapon. Against white society. And a lot of his claims are valid, I believe that we are still under the system of white supremacy. We are at war with each other politically and economically. But for this guy to be the leader, I don't think so. I kind of knew after you got caught with a conscious stripper, so-called stripper. Well, she's not a conscious stripper. She's just a stripper, right? There's no such thing as a conscious stripper, okay? It's a hoe that takes off her clothes for money, okay? And that's what that bitch was doing for a living. She was taking off her clothes for money. She may have had the afro, she may have was wearing shea butter, she was wearing those scented oils and wearing a dashiki or African clothing, but she was a hoe. Albeit a black woman, but she was a hoe. She was taking money for, selling her body for money. That's essentially what she was doing. And I can't take anybody I can't take, and I knew I couldn't take this guy seriously. Because let me just say this, and I keep game on Lord Jamar and his father-in-law when he was telling his story about how he started the school. Check that. I'll go back years later. I'll go back to when I was growing up. I'll tell you a story about my life. I went to public school in New York City. And I'll tell you the school name and number. I went to PS 95, Sheila Mechner School, right on Hillman Avenue in the Bronx, right near Riverdale. Okay? Right near Riverdale. It was a school for his kids coming from Fieldston, Riverdale, 246th Street. A bunch of white shits. All right. We were the only black folks that was coming from the building called Tracy Towers, which is still there, 440 West Mushaloo Parkway in the Bronx. And I used to live there for a number of years with my family, with my mother and father. So back then, I was in a class. I was the only one of 4 black children in a class full of whites and Hispanics. So of course, I was acting out. I had the AHAD, whatever it is, and I couldn't control myself because I was so fucking bored in that class, sitting down, fidgeting, doing shit on my own. And these white people, and mostly they were white teachers, white female teachers who didn't know how to handle a black child, like myself. So I get why Dr. Umar is trying to, had good intentions to have black children being educated by black folks. Okay, because black folks would understand black children better than white folks. Okay? They would understand the upbringing and where they came from and who their people are. I get it. And I understand. No disrespect to the white educators, but I get where Dr. Umar is coming from. And based off of my experience, I would have benefited from learning in an all-black environment, which my mother did. When I got, and I'll tell this story. Back in 1983, February of 1983, we had a teacher. I'm not going to name her name on this live stream, but she wasn't equipped for teaching because she couldn't handle me. And I was the only troublemaker in the 3rd grade. or so-called troublemaker. Okay? I was sent to the principal's office, and I knew the principal and the vice principal by first name basis. Okay? So they didn't know how to handle a child like myself. So I kind of say to myself, I probably was borderline genius. I don't know. But they never took the time to really harness my energy. Because I was kind of like a guy, I was like a little child that liked the outdoors. I like the gym, I like playing, I like running, I like activities, being active. I still do. Even at 51 years old, I still like to go to the gym. I like to go hiking. I like to go outside on a Saturday afternoon. I'm not a couch potato. I don't like being a couch potato. I like going out doing shit. So I was bored out of my fucking mind. And when you have young parents, like my parents were, they were relatively in their 20s. When I was 8 years old, they were in their late 20s going on their 30s. And I can honestly tell you, my father didn't know much about the world except for New York City. Neither did my mother. Didn't know much about the world. And there was no internet, and there was no YouTube back in 1983. Okay? There was no internet there was well, there was an internet, but it wasn't available to the public per se. Okay? So I totally understand. I was getting in trouble, getting written up, have notes sent home to my mom whooping my ass and yelling at me like I was a goddamn grown ass man. I was just a little boy, but she was whooping my ass and yelling at me like I was a grown man. Okay? So did my father. My father got into the act, but my father worked 12-hour days. He didn't know what the fuck was going on or cared. So he never talked to me. My mom went off on him. My father said, all right, I got to whoop your ass. Come here. All right? So it got to the point let's rewind back in 1982 when I first got suspended from school, from PS 95. All right? Now, this punk ass teacher, my second grade teacher, she was a punk ass bitch, a wise ass punk ass bitch, but she kind of had a clue on how to handle it. Okay? But she lied on me. She lied on the brother, which what white folks do, who want to save their job. Okay? And quite frankly, I didn't think she cared for me. All right? But that's what you get. You have white folks educating your black child in an all environment. Okay? Where you're only 4 black children in the class. And I was friends with 2 of them. One Puerto Rican and one white guy. So anyway, I got suspended for allegedly throwing a chair when in actuality, I got mad because my teacher I disrupted the class, told me to go out to the principal's office. I got frustrated because it really wasn't my fault. So I got up, pushed a chair, and walked out of the classroom. Everybody said I threw the chair. And it went down. So So I get it. Now as a grown adult, I get it. I get why she lied, because she couldn't handle her job. So that's when I got suspended. So fast forward 1983. There's another punk ass bitch who quit during the school year. So we had substitute teachers throughout the year. Part of the year. Because the bitch couldn't handle the job. And it's sad when you have a teacher who knew she wasn't equipped for handling the job. She wasn't a fun chick. She was a Canadian chick. So she wasn't used to black folks. So I don't know where she is now, but I hope the bitch is dead. But hey, whatever. Fuck her. So while I had a substitute teacher, I had a tennis ball which I was going to use to play catch out in recess, right? So one of my classmates was fucking with me. The ball popped out of my pocket and rolled towards the teacher's desk, where the substitute teacher picked it up, put it in the drawer. So now a month later, Miss Alex, well, I'm not going to say that bitch's name, the actual teacher came back. And I waited until everybody left the classroom. So stupid me went into the drawer to find the football. And I got caught. The bitch started yelling at me, called security. School security, the principal got involved. They were talking about expulsion. So before that could even happen, my mother took me out of school. A few days later, my brother and I transferred to another school, private school, an Afrocentric school, and I'll say the name because it doesn't exist anymore. It's called the Yelverton School, I think. Nothing but black children all over the place, black teachers, but it was a struggling school. It changed locations every year. They didn't have a set location. See, unlike Dr. Umar, who's still building the school and cleaning toilets, there was actually a boots on the ground, volunteer teachers, black teachers that graduated from college, wanted to teach. And of course, they used punishment, which I did not like. So they were whipping my ass. And my mother gave them permission to whoop my ass. And even if she didn't, they would have done it anyway. Okay? So that's what was my experience with an Afrocentric school. And I went to another one after they changed locations again, to another stable school, which is now defunct now. It's called Melrose Community School. Where I finally graduated, went to high school, public high school, and then on my way to college, went to college. Now, when they took me out of PS 95, when my mother was getting me out, some white bitch secretary was saying that you should reconsider, where you transferring? Where is Danny going to go to school? My mom said, ain't none of your goddamn business. He's just getting the fuck up out of here. He's like, and they were like saying, hey, we can actually help him. Here, he could be on drugs and go to jail, go to prison, and have a criminal record, which I don't. Never been on drugs, never had a criminal record, didn't start drinking and smoking cigars and a little tweed until I was after 40. Well, actually in my 50s, where I just don't give a fuck anymore. I made my money. I'm still making my money. And I consider myself a success in my life. But see, the reason why I'm telling this story, because there are schools out there that are actually Afrocentric, that are boots on the ground, that's actually doing the work, educating their children, educating black children. Okay? Not sitting around doing speeches, not going around going on YouTube videos talking about black men being snow bunnied. Not black men not being fucking with white women or snow bunnies. That should not be your objective, and that's clearly none of your damn business, Dr. Umar. I thought you was focused on the children, educating the children. See, he could have just put up, if he really was serious, black folks, could have done it with one room, a classroom, set up a class for pre-K to third grade, educating the youngins. Set up a school to educate the youngins. Then grow into owning your own buildings and having a classroom set up and having computers and all that nonsense. See, he wasn't serious about it. Otherwise, he would have done it that way or done it online. Everybody, after the pandemic, everybody was being educated online. All the children were learning remotely. He could have done it that way. He could have done it a school like the Jews have done, a school after school. An after school, after your black children being educated by some white folks, you take them to another school to teach them African American history, African history, set up programs, do all that military, fill the gap that our public schools have voided our black children. Okay? Fill the void. I mean, black children should not be just wanting to go play basketball, football, or baseball all damn day and get into the NBA or the NFL. That's a pipe dream. Let me tell you something. In the NBA, especially in the NFL, especially in the NBA, there's nepotism. Okay? And it's clearly they have a finite slots that are available on each team. And they usually know who they want in the NBA when you're in the 8th grade, when you're in AAU. Okay? So that's a pipe dream. Learning this AI technology, which I am immersed in, that's going to make you some money in the long term, in the future. Even at my age, at 51, at 51, I'm learning the basics of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Python programming, Negro, cybersecurity. My relative got a degree in cybersecurity just a few months ago, and they're going to make some money because they know what's up. Technology is where it's not going to last long. I don't think everybody should be relying on technology because there are trades out there where black folks really need. There is a need. Construction, electrical, being an electrician, becoming a mechanic, plumbing. Those are trades that's going to be needed, and just in case that there is a breakdown in society. All right, where technology is going to fail. I see it coming, people. Just like in that movie, The Day After, right? I'm not going to explain. It was about the aftermath of a nuclear war. Now, John Lithgow's character was the professor who stated, quote, World War III is going to be the big one, while World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones. Okay? I'm not going to be around for World War IV. And I may not even survive World War III. I'm not going to survive it. Okay? I'm going to be on my balcony with my Crown Royal and my cigar in my mouth, watching shit hit the fan. I'm not running. I'm not trying to survive. I'm not stocking up to survive. I'm not doing all that bull job. Because if you stock up to survive and you have no skills, you're ass out. You have no agricultural skills. You're not taking agricultural classes, which I'm doing on YouTube. I'm learning about agriculture. That's a skill set that every black man and woman should learn about, instead of no bullshit women's studies or economics or all those bullshit majors that y'all in college right now sending your kids to college for $20,000 a year to learn bullshit. They're just working for a corporation instead of learning a skill set that will sustain them. Why are you sending your kids to go to school for business administration if they're going to work for a corporation instead of owning your own business? And speaking of business, this is why we have black folks who are emotionally triggered and emotionally weaponized to follow some fool who have trapped bandos, who ain't doing shit. They just take your money. I need donations. I need my PayPal. My bank account has been frozen. I have no money, people. And y'all fools sending this fool money. So that's why I titled it Pan-African is Dead. Pan-Africanism is dead, people. Tariq Nasheed even said it in his live stream a year ago when he was talking about this fool, Dr. Umar, or a couple of months ago, who almost got his building seized by the city of Wilmington. Pan-Africanism is an ideology without any action. That's all it is, black folks. And it's always one-sided. Pan-Africanism is always going to be one-sided. And in my personal opinion, I think Pan-Africanism, people who get into Pan-Africanism, number one, either hates this country or hates the opportunities that this country affords you, or they have this hidden romance about going back to Africa. And those those countries in Africa, they are not really interested in black Americans. They, as a whole, as a collective, they haven't sent money. They haven't sent opportunities our way to black Americans. I could be in error. I don't know. If they have, place it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. They're talking crazy. You're wrong. Black Americans that are immersed in Pan-Africanism, they benefited from it. What were the benefits of being in Pan-Africanism? I know I was running around talking crazy about fuck white people, fuck white supremacy, fuck this, fuck this country ain't shit. I'm going back to camp. I'm going to Cameroon. I'm going to Nigeria. No, fuck out of here. My people were here for 400, 500 years. Okay? And we survived everything. We survived slavery. We survived Reconstruction. We survived segregation. We survived. And now the tethers are coming in to replace us, man. Because we dropped the ball as black Americans. I'm sorry, we dropped the ball for allowing fools like Dr. Umar and other Pan-Africanists to come up and disrupt. This is why we're all lineage. This is why we're all lineage based. I'm about lineage now. Because when I was growing up, there was some sort of, people from other countries, they kind of made it feel shameful to be a black American. So we had to identify as African American. I identified as being an African. But I'm 500, my people are 500 years removed from Africa. So I'm not with that pro-black back to Africa bull jive. Okay? And Dr. Umar, and believe me, I love black people. I love black Americans. I love foundational black Americans. I love Africans descendants of slavery, ADOS. I love being an ADOS. I love being an FBA. I love being a black American. And it's not a shot at all my Jamaicans out there, my Nigerians, my Ghanas, my Cape Verdeans, everybody in the diaspora. But I was born and raised here. And if I were to get married, it would be to a black American woman. Okay? And even if it wasn't a black American woman, even if I got a snow bunny or a Latin bunny or a salsa bunny, or even a sushi bunny, I will be at the next Million Man March 10 years from now. I will be at the next Million Man March, hand in hand with my snow bunny, my Asian bunny, and my salsa bunny. And what the fuck are you gonna do about it if I do show up with one? Let me see how much time I have left. Blister, you suck too, motherfucker. Now get the fuck off my live, man. Get the fuck out. I gotta get you the fuck up out of here. Let me get the fuck out of here. Let me get you the fuck out of here. I'm gonna remove your comment. Get you the fuck out of here. All right, I've been on here for 35 minutes. Let me go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Because I got shit to do. I got a game to watch. I got people to see. Y'all go ahead and I'm going to finish this cigar right here. All right, this is Talking Crazy. Not host. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to be on the channel. All right. Let me go ahead and get on out of here. I got things to do. I got shit to do. This is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black folks, let's be careful out there. All right.